it'll definitely make your family feel like dinner is worth celebrating and family worth celebrating. I like it spicy. Oh yeah. Enjoy this feast for the eyes as well as for the soul. Something like this can bring your children close to the church because you're bringing them closer to your own domestic church. Oh, you're definitely going to like this. This will definitely help you to savor our faith. Hello, I'm Father Leo Patalinghug, the host of GraceBeforeMeals.com, and you're watching EWTN, Savoring Our Faith. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this next dish, and it harkens back to the time when the Israelites were all wondering where they were going to get the next meal. They were wandering in the desert, and basically they were hungering for something, and they were hungering for meat. If you remember, they had a little bit of manna, but they were getting a little tired of that. They wanted protein. And the protein that God sent to them was quail, which was very interesting because they don't really come out in the desert, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the dish that we're going to cook, I couldn't find any quail. So instead, we're simply going to use some little Cornish game hens and see just how the Lord, like Mother Church, is kind of like Mother Hen, gathering her brood under her wings. And that's what we're going to make. This little Cornish game hen that I'm going to just simply split open with a knife, with a pair of scissors, just cutting right through here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Basically, I'm butterflying it without having to, use a big knife and, risking it. And when we open it up, you basically see the cavity, and we're going to basically cut alongside. And this will make it really easy to cook in the pan, and then we're going to finish it off in the oven. And then we're also going to flavor up some rice with some white wine. Deliciousness. So, very simple. Salt and pepper on each side, as well as a little bit of garlic powder as well. In the pan, I've got it heating up with a little bit of olive oil, as well as a little bit of butter. Not too much, not necessary, simply because we're going to be finishing it off in the oven. And in the chicken, there's enough of the fat that's going to help cook it. So let's make sure we do it on both sides. We've got this thing going on high because we're going to start it off high, and then we are going to finish it off, like I said, in the oven under a medium temperature, about 350 degrees. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. In the Gospels, as the church is compared to that mother hen, sometimes moms, they love when their children are around, and this dish will definitely help bring the family together. As a kid, I loved chicken, but I love chicken nuggets. And so I think my mom helped me to grow up with understanding the flavors of poultry. You see this smoke coming up? That's almost like incense rising up to heaven. That means we're at a smoking point, which is what I want, because that's the sound that we want. It's like music to my ears, really. So we're going to basically cook these until it turns nice and brown for a little bit. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do next, especially with regular, normal rice. This rice is actually a little bit of leftover rice that's just kind of been sitting in your refrigerator. We're going to reuse it again by putting it into the pan drippings, seasoning the rice, and kicking it up with a beautiful splash of white wine as well. Now, why are we doing this extra fancy chicken dish? Well, because again, the Lord wants to bring His family together. And if there's one thing that can bring families together, it's a delicious meal just like this. So what we're going to do is just make sure that this browns up nicely, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, we'll shoot for 7 minutes on each side. Then we're going to transfer it and bring it to the oven, and we're going to let it cook for another 25, 30 minutes, and until the juices run clear when you poke it. Okay, this has been cooking for just a few minutes, so I'd like to show you what the color would be before you can switch it. Now, let's see what we got here. You see that? That is definitely some special stuff. And this is what we're going to do is get this cooking so that it kind of creates a crustiness and a crispiness of the skin on the chicken. Now we're going to flip this over. Oh, that's even more beautiful. Another 5 to 7 minutes on this side, and then into the oven it goes. Okay, so the chicken is out. It's looking beautiful. It's cooking perfectly. I'm going to let this meat rest for a few minutes, and into this same pan, I'm going to keep a little bit of those flavors, add just a little bit more olive oil, and then I'm also going to infuse some flavors by taking some of this rosemary and just simply ripping it off and putting it into this oil, and it's going to give it a great little taste to it. This stuff will definitely make your family want to come home. And you know, it's interesting because at least in America, we eat turkey, right? And so people love that stuff. Why do we have to wait forever, once a year, to have a nice poultry dish? Well, in part because people know that turkey just takes so long to cook. This is a lot simpler. So we've got this oil getting flavored with a little bit of the rosemary. And what I'm going to do now is just hit it with a little bit of white wine. And you're going to get it sizzling, so just step back a little bit. Music to my ears. It's almost like, come and get it. So we're just going to let this cook up just a little bit. Wait for the alcohol to cook out. To this, I'm going to add some salt, pepper, as well as a little hit of some fresh herbs. So this fresh parsley, just to give it just a nice bright flavor to it. And a little bit of pepper. So this same pan, if you got a little bit of the dripping on the bottom and you need to clean it up, just put a little bit of liquid in it, a braising liquid, and my preference is wine. It'll definitely make it a lot easier for cleanup, as well as give you a chance to reuse some of this old rice, which is probably dried out a little bit. No worries. It's going to just go right into here, and it's going to help flavor it up. Absolute deliciousness. So just get that warming up. So I'm going to grab this plate, and we're going to use this to put some of our flavored rice as well as our chicken, and we're also going to add a little bit of garnish as well. To help spruce this plate up, I'm going to cut this lemon and put a little wedge right there, just to make it not only a beautiful plate, but also so that people can actually take a little squeeze of this lemon and give it a nice, fresh, bright flavor. And then to let them know what that beautiful ingredient is, just maybe a little sprig of this beautiful rosemary. And this will definitely call your children to the table. So enjoy this feast for the eyes as well as for the soul. And don't forget, moms, something like this can bring your children close to the church, because you're bringing them closer to your own domestic church, your own home. So like a mother that brings her little flock together, that's what our church does in feeding us body, mind, and soul.
To get this recipe, log on to ewtn.com/savoringourfaith.
In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 23, verse 37, the church is compared to a mother hen who's trying to bring her children together. And I know, families, that it can be very tough to come together and maybe share a regular family meal. But delicious food like this pan-roasted chicken with some white wine-infused rice to give it new life, it'll definitely make your family feel like dinner is worth celebrating and families worth celebrating.